Well, so Steve, I want to kind of like hone in right there on the journalist element of this, because I want to just note that, we know, and I'm sure you're about to say this too, Israel has been targeting journalists. And as we all saw just last week, they killed El Akhbar's Amal Khalil. She's the ninth journalist killed in Lebanon this year. And you yourself, I know you don't love to draw attention to it because a lot of journalists have been targeted, but you were nearly killed yourself in a strike while on camera last month. Can you tell us what happened and what that says about how Israel is treating the press in this war?
Well, yeah, I mean, when it comes to the airstrike that took place on March the 19th, myself and my camera operator Ali Rida Speiti were filming at the Al Kazmia Bridge, which is one of the bridges that spans the Litani River. Now, you'll recall, but Israel had issued an order saying that it was going to target every single bridge across the Litani River. Now, this is again, targeting civilian infrastructure is, of course, a war crime. But the reason that they were doing that was to try and sever southern Lebanon from the rest of the country. They said that Hezbollah was using these bridges for the transportation of weapons and fighters. Again, we have to say that this is a lie. There's no truth in what Israel is saying. So the bridge that we and people keep asking this, and the supporters of Israel will often say to us, well, Israel told you that they were going to destroy the bridge, but you still went there, and Israel wasn't targeting you because it missed, right? So I'll talk you through exactly what happened. Now, the reason that we went to this particular bridge was, one, because it was a major news story, and we're journalists, and the job of a journalist is to cover the major news stories of the day, which was the targeting of the bridges across the Litani River. This bridge in particular had already been struck. So I think the Wednesday night, so we were there on the Thursday, so the night before, it had already been targeted, it had been struck. To all intents and purposes, it had been destroyed. There was a tiny gap where maybe people could walk across. It certainly wasn't anywhere that Hezbollah could transfer weapons or fighters. You couldn't drive a vehicle across it. So this is why we chose that bridge in particular. Now, we went to the bridge, and just as you get to the foot of the bridge, there is a Lebanese army barracks. And we spoke to the Lebanese army, and we asked them about the bridge, about the safety of filming there. They assured us it was perfectly fine. It was perfectly safe to film. Now, we're experienced journalists. We're experienced war correspondents. We take safety and security very, very seriously. So there's no way that we would have just filmed on the bridge without checking checking that everything was safe to do so. Now, the Israelis, when they're going to bomb a bridge like this, what they tend to do is that they will contact UNIFIL, that's the United Nations peacekeeping force in Lebanon, and UNIFIL will then get a message to the Lebanese army and tell them, we're going to bomb the bridge, so you need to make sure that you're in a place of safety, and then we will tell you when it's safe to return. So they didn't do that. And so we went to the bridge. We were filming on the bridge. Now, again, we were clearly identified as press. Our vehicle was clearly identified as a press vehicle. And we have to say that Israel not only has the most advanced military technology in the world, but it has the most advanced surveillance technology in the world. It knows everything that happens in the south of Lebanon. It knows every vehicle number plate. It reads our messages. It listens to our conversations. So there's no doubt in our mind whatsoever that Israel knew that we were there. Now, when it came to the strike, I was reporting on a number of issues. Partly I was talking about the attack on the bridges, but I was also giving an update on Hezbollah's military operations against Israel, the strikes, the cross-border strikes, the resistance in Khiam and Bint Jbeil. And it was at that moment when we heard this almighty roar. Now, the fighter jets have been flying overhead for some time, but this is not unusual in the south of Lebanon. We could hear them. They were flying away from us. They were heading towards Sur, Tyre, as is also known. They were heading in that direction. So they were targeting what they would say are Hezbollah positions there. So we weren't unduly worried until we heard one roaring very, very closely to us. And you can see the footage in the video. I appear to look up, and people asked me whether I saw the missile. But I think really it was the jet that we heard. Now, Ali had been filming. I've been doing my piece to camera. Ali was getting some B-roll footage. So this is Herding camera operators is very much like herding cats at times, and he was off. He was filming. He was filming in the hole to get some beautiful footage, as he called it. As luck would have it, there was a gust of wind at that particular moment, and my camera started, the tripod started wobbling. So I said, "Yalla, yalla, Ali, come, come, come." And as he says, he was thinking, oh, what does he want now? And but he came over, and it was about 15 seconds later that the missile ended up exactly at the spot where he was standing, and it went through the hole in the bridge, and it was only by luck that it exploded underneath that hole. If it was a foot the other way, but we've spoken to military experts, weapons experts, and they said that there wouldn't have even been bodies to recover. So this is why we say that this was a deliberate strike. And we're in no doubt about it. And if people don't believe us, then that's fair enough. But then look at the pattern that's happened. As you said, 9 journalists have been killed this year. I think 23 journalists killed in Lebanon since 2023. More journalists killed in since 2023 by Israel than in the First World War, the Second World War, the Vietnam War, the war in Afghanistan, and the war in Iraq combined. I think last year, 2/3 of the global total of journalists killed were killed by Israel. So they've killed them in Gaza, as we've seen, and as people will know, Israel has killed journalists live on air. So, but the reason that they keep doing it is because they've been able to do it with total impunity, and each of those deaths, each death of a journalist is a war crime, but it's just one of many. Israel is committing war crimes by the hour here in Lebanon, and instead of any other country in the world, you can take, would be isolated on the world stage. They'd face sanctions. They'd have arms embargoes, trade embargoes. All sorts of things would happen to them. But for Israel, instead, the opposite is happening. It's not just that they're allowed to act with impunity; they're encouraged to act with impunity, and it's with the complicity of the global imperialist powers, Britain and the United States in particular.